right, this is the outside inspection. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start with my 5 marker lights. They're properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, broken, and are amber in color. I will go down to my headlights. My headlights are properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, broken, clear in color. The function is high beam and low beam. My side marker light is amber in color, and the function is turn signals and four-way flashes. I will go right here to the front of my truck. I will look up under it, make sure I don't see any puddles or leaks, and I don't have a suspension problem because my truck is not leaning to the left or the right. Once I'm finished with that, I will get up, I will lift my hood, and I will start always on the passenger side. First thing I will do, I will talk about my coolant reservoir. My coolant reservoir is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, broken. No leaks, the cap is on tight, and it's filled to manufacturer specs. All general hoses and wires are properly mounted secured, not cut, torn, or frayed. No abrasion, bulges, or cuts. They are secured on both ends and no leaks. So I will go over here to my driver's side. Alright, so on my driver's side, I will talk about my engine oil. It's properly mounted secured, and it's filled to the manufacturer's specs. I will pull it out, wipe it off, put it back in, pull it out to make sure it's between the minimum and the max. Once I'm done with that, I will go to my steering column. Steering column is properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, broken. All nuts and bolts are present, and no more than an inch of play in my steering column. Once I leave there, I will go to my power steering reservoir, which is properly mounted and secured. It's not cracked, bent, broken, showing no signs of leaks, and it's filled to the manufacturer's specs. All hoses are secured on both ends, no abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and also no leaks. I also have my steering gearbox. It's properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, broken. All nuts and bolts are present, and there's no leaks. I will start with my steering components. All steering components, which is my pitman arm, my drag link, and my steering knuckle, all properly mounted, secured, no signs of damage, and my castle nut and cotter pins are present. Once I'm done with that, I will go to my frame. My frame is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, broken, no illegal welds. I will leave there and go to my shock absorber. My shock absorber is properly mounted and secured on both ends, no leaks, properly mounted and secured on both ends. No leaks and no damage. And I would go down to my leaf springs. My leaf springs are properly mounted and secured. They are not cracked, bent, broken, and are not shifted. And I will go to my leaf spring mounts, front and rear, which is properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, broken. All nuts and bolts are present. I will leave there and go to my U-bolts. My U-bolts are properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, broken. All nuts and bolts are present. Also on this truck, I have an airbag, which is properly mounted and secured. No abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and no leaks. Once I leave there, I will go to my brake line and my brake hose. All properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, broken. No abrasion, bulges, or cuts, secured on both ends, and no leaks. Once I leave there, I will go to my brake drum and my brake lining. My brake drums is properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, broken, showing no signs of damage. And on my brake lining, it's properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, broken, no signs of damage, no oil or debris between the brake drum and the brake lining. And my brake lining is not worn dangerously thin. I will also go to my tire, which is properly mounted and secured. No abrasion, bulges, or cuts on the sidewalls. Evenly worn. It's filled to proper manufacturer specifications. I would check that with an air gauge onto my valve stem, which is properly mounted and secured, and it's not cracked, bent, or broken, and it's not leaking. The tread depth on this tire should be no less than 4/32. Then I will go to my rim. My rim is properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, broken, and there's no legal welds. I will go to my lug nuts. All properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, broken. None are missing. No rust trails or shiny threads indicating looseness. And I also have my hub seal, which is properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, broken, not leaking, and filled to manufacturer specifications. All right, once I leave there, I will go straight to my steps. My steps are properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, broken. They will hold my weight, and no debris or anything is on my steps. If my batteries were exposed, I would talk about my batteries. They're properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, broken, no signs of damage, no corrosion, and all wires are on tight to the battery cables. All right. I can talk about this side marker light, which is properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, broken, amber in color, and the function is turn signals and four ways. I will go around here to the side of my truck, and over here on this truck, this is my gas tank or fuel tank, which is properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, broken, no leaks. My gas cap is on tight. It also has a DOT chain and a rubber gasket. Then I will talk about my saddle straps, which is properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, broken. Saddle straps are no metal to metal contact. Once I leave there, I will go ahead and start about my airlines. My airlines are properly mounted secured, no abrasion, bulges, or cuts. They are secured on both ends, no leaks. My glad hands are properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, broken. There are also no leaks. And also have a rubber grommet on the inside that is not dry rotted and no signs of damage. I will go to my electrical line. My electrical line is properly mounted secured, not no cut, tears, or frays, and it's secured on both ends. All right. Once I leave there, I will go up under here to my apron. My apron is properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, broken, showing no signs of damage. I don't have any space in between my apron and my skid plate. And my skid plate is properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, broken, no signs of damage, and it's properly lubed. My release arm on this is also in a lock position, and it's properly mounted and secured. All hardware, as far as nuts and bolts on this skid plate, is properly mounted and secured. None are missing. And I also have my sliding fifth wheel. My sliding fifth wheel is properly mounted and secured, showing no signs of damage, and my pins are in the lock position. I also have my platform. My platform is properly mounted and secured to the frame of my truck, and it's properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, broken, showing no signs of damage. And also the frame is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, broken, and no illegal welds.
Oh, my bad.
All right, now once you come around here,
Come on. I got you.
we'll talk about the locking jaw, which is properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, broken, showing no signs of damage, and is locked around the shank of my kingpin, which is properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, broken, and not showing any signs of damage. Now, once I come from out of here, I will talk about I got enough clearance between my mud flap and my landing gear to make proper turns. Now, my landing gear is properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, broken, showing no signs of damage. My legs are in the raised position, and the handle is in the cradle position. All right. I got reflector tape down the side of my trailer, no signs of damage, and it was at least 50% down the side of my trailer. All right. So once I come here, I'm gonna talk about this side marker light, which is properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, broken, showing no signs of damage. And it's also, the function is turn signals and hazards. Once I get around here to the back of my truck, I'm gonna talk about my tandems on my trailer, which is properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, broken, showing no signs of damage. My pin is in the lock position, and my release arm is in the lock position. If I want to talk about my tires, I can say on my trailer and on my drives on my truck, the tread depth should be no less than 2/32. This trailer does not have an ABS light, but if it did have an ABS light, it would be properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, broken, amber in color. All right. Now, once I get up here, I can talk about my marker lights in the rear, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, broken, showing no signs of damage, they're red in color. Talk about my door, which is properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, broken, showing no signs of damage. It's in the lock position. Have the reflector tape around, going around my trailer doors. Then I'll go to my rear tail lights, which is properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, broken. They are red in color. The function is turn signals, hazard. Turn signals, hazards, and brake lights, and running lights. All right. Now, after that, that completes the inspection outside of the truck.